unknown, and today would be the part one of the unknown identification. For the lab notebook, as we have a comment or question on the chat, I am going to move the deadline, due date for that, to April 7th. Actually, I'm actually going to move it 2 days. And what I want you to do, let me find the lab notebook. Oh, it's a lab report. Okay, the lab notebook, if you did submit already, you have also time to, if you decide to revise it, you can revise and turn it in. As long as you turn it in by Thursday night, you should be fine. What goes into lab notebook today for this part? It's the physical property. So page 233. Okay, page 233 is when you read the experiment on page 233, it tells you what you need to do. There is no procedure there. The procedure for each part or whatever you need to do in that page in order to get a step closer to your unknown, the procedures are presented in either in experiment 18 or experiment 19. You don't have to include everything from experiment 18 or everything from experiment 19 in there. Just the test that applies to your unknown based on the instructions given in page 233. But you find the procedure, the actual procedure in experiment 18. For example, if you want to dissolve a sample of unknown in water, that page, you might say just dissolve it or test the solubility in water or in HCl or sodium hydroxide. But the actual procedure, the quantity is coming from chapter 18 or the experiment 18. And when you are done with your experiment, you record your observation, you watch the video, you record your observation, then you have to come up with, based on the instructions on page 234, you come up with two functional groups that you think your compound is going to be. And you answer the questions on page 234. Okay, let me answer your questions you might have, because if people are joining us late, then I have to repeat this. I hope that everybody is here already. Let me look at your questions, if there is any. I already moved the due date for lab notebook part 1 to April 8th, to Thursday night. And then question, okay. I have not graded, because for my organic 1 lab, this week is the last week. I have to get the grades out of the way for them. I have to finish everything for them. For your class, I still have like 2 weeks time. And I am kind of on time for grading for it's like just a couple lab reports that I have not. So I will, but not yet. It's not done yet. So if you did resubmit something, I haven't graded yet, but I will definitely grade it. Okay, do you have any questions for me? So what we are doing today, I'm just answering quick questions you might have. I already told you about the lab notebook. What needs to be in the lab notebook is the procedure for only the experiments that you are doing for unknown identification part 1, which is the melting point or boiling point based on your unknown, and then beside that, it would be the procedure for only parts of the experiments that you have to perform for your unknown. And for next week, same thing. Let's say if you find out that your compound is alcohol, then you have to prove that it's alcohol, and you also have to do like a Lucas test to see if it's primary, secondary, or tertiary. But if you find out that your compound is not alcohol, then you don't have to do Lucas test. So the procedure is based on the unknown. Where you find the actual procedure, you get it from the experiment 18 and experiment 19. So you look for it and you plan for it, what you need to do. The lab notebook is, the deadline for lab notebook is extended for part 1, but there would be no late submission for part 2 of the unknown identification, the lab notebook for part 2, because you are supposed to turn in the result by end of the lab time next week for second part. You don't have a whole week time to do it, okay? You are expected to turn in those numbers, those data, or the single page that you have for that same day. So for second part of unknown identification, basically page 235 of the lab manual, it's due the same day of the lab next week, next Monday. Any questions for me?
Oh, Dr. Mamari?
Yes.
So as far as assignments now, so it's just those 2 notebooks, unknown 1 and 2, and that should be it. For like no more
lab notebook, and then if you can you open the assignment for unknown identification, not the lab notebook, is another assignment, is called, I want to make sure that it's actually is called, not the lab notebook, it should call like an unknown identification. Okay. Assignment unknown part 1. Can you see if that is available to you? Could you please check it now to make sure that it's available or not yet?
Yeah,
I want to make it
now. Let me see.
It's not available, right? It's not April 7th yet, so that's not available yet. I'm talking about the assignment that is called unknown part 1 assignment. So I make that available now. So you should be able to see it. Check or refresh and check that assignment. There is an attachment that is coming from page 233 to 234. You need to fill that up and submit it for that replaces the lab report. So you have to actually submit that report. It's not a lab report, it's just the assignment that is a Word document. And do not print page 233, 234 there's already a Word document. Could you open it? Make sure you can open it and see what I mean.
I'm on it now. It says like preliminary identification unknown 1.
Physical property, right?
Hold on. There's like, you have been given an unknown. Yeah, physical properties, solubility, and then predictions of functional group, it says.
Okay. So you open the attachment, yes.
Yeah.
It's a Word document.
Yeah.
You need to fill that, complete that, and you need to submit that as that replaces the lab report. That is due next Monday.
Okay.
Before your lab. Beginning of the lab, and no late submission for that either. It has to be submitted that day on the 12th. Because I need to check, make sure it's correct before you can start the second part. You have to get the okay from me before you can start the second part. Okay, any questions? If you don't have questions, I'm going to assign you unknown. So we have 2 unknowns. You could have unknown A or unknown B. I'm going to call your name if you're getting unknown A, and make sure you record it, and I'm also going to mark it. And then when you watch the video, you concentrate on that unknown. Like if your name is associated with the unknown A, you only work with unknown A. If your name is associated with unknown B, then you work only with unknown B from that, from the observation. It's the same video, but it includes two unknowns. Okay, I'm going to, like what I did for the other class, I just went every other student with unknown A, unknown B. I can do the same for your class just to be consistent, and I can change that next class. So, Brianna, I'm giving you unknown A. I'm assigning you unknown A. Victor, I'm assigning you unknown B. I'm going to take this as both attendance and I'm going to take this as and confirming that you got your actual unknown, so you know which unknown you're working with. So Brianna, unknown A, Victor, unknown B, Ahmed, unknown A, Michael, unknown B, Karina, unknown A, Alavia, unknown B, Julia, unknown A, Melissa, unknown B, Melissa, unknown B, Denise, unknown A, Charisse, unknown B, Gian, unknown A, Cindy, unknown B, Natalia, are you here? Natalia, unknown A, Jones, unknown B, Taylor, unknown A, and Christopher, unknown B. Okay, perfect. Michael, did you respond to me? You were here? Okay. Just making sure that you got your unknown. Perfect. Do you have any questions for me? Did I hear unknown B, Natalia? Natalia, unknown A. Natalia, unknown A for you. Julia A. Natalia A. Okay. Julia A. Perfect. If you have any questions, you may stay and ask. If you don't have questions, to pull the procedure, you have to go through experiment 18, experiment 19. Thank you so much, and you can submit or resubmit your lab notebook before Thursday, anytime before Thursday. This is for part 1 of the unknown. But for Charisse, you got your unknown already? I gave the name for your unknown, and your unknown is unknown B. Okay. That's okay, Victor, as long as you got your unknown, and also if you have if you know how to get the procedure, where to get the procedure, and you don't want to get every procedure, you just want to get the procedure that pertains to your your unknown. Let's say if you have a liquid unknown, you would do boiling point. You don't do the melting point, so you don't need to have melting point procedure in there. If you have questions, you may ask, stay and ask your questions. If you don't have questions, you don't have, you can leave. Ahmed, your unknown was unknown A. Your unknown was A, Ahmed. Good.
Professor, I had just one last question. I did not submit one of the lab notebooks before. Is it too late right now to submit it? The only reason I did not submit it is because we had like this off and we did not have anything to submit, and I forgot to submit it. But I already did it and it's been there on my notebook. I don't know if it's too late to submit it now or I can submit it for partial credit maybe or something.
If it's more than 2 weeks late, the grade is going to be very low. You could still submit to the same folder that is in open now for unknown, part 1 of unknown. So
Okay, thank you.
yeah, for the lab notebook, that would be for partial credit, but depends on how late it is. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, I'm going to stop recording and